Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sandhya Panigrahi from Barampur.
Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Anima Kriketer from Bokaro, Jharkhand. Welcome.
नमस्कार, I am Dr. Kusum Das, consultant gynecologist, Kalinga Hospital, Bhubaneswar.
Yeah, welcome.
Namaste, I am Dr. Navnita Patnaik, Additional Professor and HOD, AIMS Bibinagar, Hyderabad.
Namaskar, I am Dr. Lina Baru, working at the Bhimsar Burla as professor.
So you have seen a very wonderful and knowledgeable panelist and all the experts. Madam, you will as expert speak something about you.
So myself, Dr. Sanjukta Mahapatra, retired professor from IMS and Som Hospital. So this is a very good topic, maternal collapse. All gynecologists and obstetricians are practicing how to save the life. Really, the doctor and the whole team, how they are confused with the patient. So what to do, what not to do, how to do, everybody should learn. And mostly these postgraduates who are going to be gynecologist and obstetrician. This is a very common. Sometimes in a everything.
Thank you.
Nice, thoroughly.
Thank you. We will be coming to you.
I am Dr. Sasmita Swain, Professor HOD, who are one of the very good organizers. So, because all are in the medical colleges and we Foxians usually do face these type of conditions, and we should know how to revive such a patient who present to you even after delivery or after all the things. Maternal collapse, how to revive, this is a basic thing each and every one should know when to refer, how to train your paramedics, and what are the needful things which you have to have at your center. So, there is a one patient condition that we all may have faced. It's a 3 a.m. now, and you are very tired, hectic duty. Suddenly a pregnant patient is transferred to your emergency room. You evaluate the patient quickly. You are shocked because the patient is collapsed. So, my question to panelists, how you will manage? First, when do you say the patient is collapsed? This is first question that you have to. My question is to Dr. Anima.
Maternal collapse is an acute event that involves cardiorespiratory system and or central nervous system, leading to reduced level of decrease or reduced level of consciousness, and potentially lead to cardiac arrest and death anytime during pregnancy up to 6 weeks postmortem.
Very nicely defined. Anybody, any other addition? So, Dr. Kusum Das, she's here? Yeah. So, now what are you going to do? Whether you are taking history, send investigation, or directly start resuscitating, or you have a team, will do in a teamwork. What is your opinion?
I will call the team, call for help, then I will the code blue should be declared immediately, and this patient needs immediate effective CPR. Without doing any investigation, we will later ask to resuscitate the patient, then only we will do whatever.
First, you will judge whether this is a true maternal collapse or not. Then, to Dr. Radhakanta, what are the causes of maternal collapse?
In our clinical setup, there are very common which is related to the maternal collapse, which is most important in our labor room is that is hemorrhage. Second one is the hypertensive disorder, third one the sepsis, and another causes like hypovolemia, hypothermia, and hypokalemia, they come last. And another important factor that is embolism, either amniotic fluid embolism or pulmonary edema or any cardiovascular diseases or any toxin like local anesthetics, drugs or high spinal infection. That may also lead to maternal collapse.
You have told a whole range of causes of maternal collapse.
Yes.
So what differential diagnosis come first as your whole list? So you should suspect 1 or 2, 3 very important cause for maternal collapse when you see a patient.
Yeah, one is the I have told like the obstetric or major hemorrhage. Second one is the embolisms.
But sometimes you do not find hemorrhage. You do not find.
Yeah, that way also you can exclude Vasovagal attack and hypoglycemia attack. Then only others came as a differential diagnosis in case of maternal collapse. But in our case, I think it is maternal hemorrhage, that is massive one. Another is embolism. These are two important factors.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Dr. Sandhya can take this in a way of
Hypoglycemia.
It's the most of the time operation we are getting the anesthetics complications and the bleeding disorders and disease and cardiac diseases and drugs giving rise to anaphylactic reaction. Also most of the time the antibiotics like ceftriaxone, that group cephalosporin groups also giving rise to sudden collapse. And last but not least, that is the embolism, high fever, general condition also giving rise to hypotension, that is also giving rise to sudden.
So very nice, very nicely you all have covered all the causes and differentiated it in your mind. We will be coming in detail on these all points. My next question is to Dr. Leena. Can a woman at risk of impending collapse be identified early? This is very
Yes.
important that you teach to your students.
Yes. If you are following any patient very meticulously, then you can identify it's very early, because before the maternal collapse occur, that is the clinical outcome, your vital must be deteriorating. So if you are following any patient, you are seeing the vitals regularly and monitoring the patient, you can diagnose the maternal, which patient will go to the maternal collapse, because there are certain risk factors which you can moderate by the modified obstetric early warning signs also there, which we are not generally using it in our setup, but you can identify.
So what protocols you are following? What protocols you follow?
High risk pregnancy also we have to be very alert.
Actually, there are few cases in which you can judge it beforehand. You can teach to your students.
Yeah.
But in many cases where there is a pulmonary embolism, like this,
Maybe
type
the
of
patient
cases we can come.
Maybe the patient of very severely preeclamptic or eclampsia patient going to be imminent eclampsia,
Right.
or when doing pregnancy or
These
we
are under high risk and you have to train
So
your
known case of heart disease, we are expecting that to better to management, and before it is diagnosed also you can be prepared for that to see the forcing of this, maybe this patient goes to collapse.
Of course, very rightly said. So for that, you will. There are few scores: Mayo's score, modified Mayo score, and there are so many scores in which what you tell, you teach to your staff. Anybody will tell about Dr. Sandhya can tell about how you teach to your staff and the residents how they will take this score. What are the points?
I hope so, madam, whenever we are dealing with the collapse, every hospital should have a resuscitation, basic resuscitation team or unit. So when I am talking with the team, means it is the paramedical and my medical staff, nurse like that. So first it is the vitals and the consciousness.
Yes. So we have to monitor all the vitals.
Yes,
So
vitals.
what exact
Now
vitals
the
we are going to
government is
monitor?
very good enough and excellent enough to give this electronic digital monitor. So it is very easy to talk them. So general condition, consciousness, pulse, BP, respiratory rate and oxygen saturation, I have to monitor it. And according to that, I will be score the patient, it is mild, moderate or severe.
So 7 parameters are very important. So we have to take the respiratory rate, oxygen saturation, we are having all in our HDUs. Temperature should be monitored, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, heart rate and neurological response. Today itself in the morning we heard from Pankaj Desai that how important is the neurological response. So we have 3 categories, yellow and red and the white one. So in that way we can categorize our patients who are at high risk. Now we welcome Dr. Radhananda, please join.
You can sit on this chair. Yeah. So you teach to your staff and the paramedicals and residents that what are the factors which we keep in the white one, in yellow and in the red alert. 10 to 20 breath per minute and 21 to 30 and less than 10 or more than 30. This is a chart that you accordingly you grade. Because of less time we are not discussing it on detail, but we have shown. So
Now to Dr. Navnita, what is the Carle score?
So this is another way of monitoring the patients. As we have already discussed, first of all we have to identify who are the patients at risk of going for a maternal collapse or any complications. But as we have already also have discussed that any normal patient without any high risk also can land up in such situation. So the best way of prevention of these complications is to monitor. One is MEOS, which already we have discussed. The other one is the Carle score, where here also we check for all the 7 parameters. Only the difference is that there the oxygen saturation is seen, and here the percentage of oxygen required to maintain the SpO2 of more than 96% has been added here. So when we are monitoring the patient, we categorize as per this color code as 0, 1, 2, 3 grades, and depending on what all we find, we can categorize the patient into different levels, who is at risk and who is without risk, who is at moderate risk, and all those things. So this slide shows us how do we interpretate the Carle score, where if it is 0, that means everything is normal, the patient is under control, so routine care has to be done. 1 to 3 degrees is low grade, still monitoring should be done because we don't know, obstetrics is always unpredictable. And then when the score is 4 to 5, or even there is one abnormal sign scoring 3, this category comes in high risk, so monitoring should be more intense. And when the score is 6 or above, then they are the most risky patients who need intense monitoring. We have to call the obstetrician, we have to call the anesthetist, and accordingly we need to plan.
So according to color code, you guide your paramedics and residents.
Yes.
When to consult to your consultant and the senior residents.
Yes, it is.
So that's very great, and you have to train. And my question to Dr.
So, no, Dr. Sanjeev is not present. So, we can ask to Dr. Radhakanta.
Dr. Radhakanta, please tell what should be your response if a woman collapses in front of you? That may happen.
So that happens in dead of the night or after a hectic day. Sometimes you may lose your patient. So here comes your regarding your mental status and how you are counseling. Number one is whenever you finish a case and you see that patient is collapsing. So the dictum is that prepare and prevent, rather through repent and repair. So if you prepare well and you prevented the complication that you anticipate, you cannot repent or you cannot repair. So rather than repairing or repenting, you have to prepare and prevent. So this is the dictum of whenever you see a collapsing patient in front of you. So face the victim, counsel properly. Everything should be, so first and foremost is document the time of the collapse. Whenever,
how you will recognize?
so first face the victim.
Right, this is very important that you train your staff
So
or
first
the resident at duty that first confirm.
Confirm.
Like this.
So first you
Check for the
confirm, check.
responsiveness of the patient.
So check the response of the patient, then you shout for help. So call for help regarding paramedics or your staff sister. Everything should be alert.
Yes, this is a video you can see. The resident is tapping on face. And are you okay? Are you okay? Seeing the response. Whether she is getting out.
Shout and tell loudly. Are you feeling okay? Is everything okay?
So that is the first. The second is, of course, as you were telling, a blue code blue. That is call for help. Call for help. What is blue code? We will come in. Anybody? Navita will tell about the
Yeah. Whenever we find that the patient is not responding, then we are in a very emergency state where the time is very important. We have to be very, very active, and definitely we have to call for help shouting to everyone, and we have to call for the maternal code blue and tell them to get the crash cart. Where crash cart is a mobile unit which contains all the devices, the materials and the drugs which are required for the emergency in resuscitating the patient. On the back there should be a monitor.
So you have your trained staff and all these crash cards already with you, doing these all drills at your setup and hospitals and higher centers, so that while pressing the button and facing such emergency, all the staff will collect it and bring the crash card. This is a type of card which we all have should have in our hospital, that is self-contained mobile unit, contains materials, drugs and devices for code blue. Defibrillator and heart monitor, they are kept to the top, and contains
content should be checked. This is very important that you should check the contents regularly. Many times it is seen that they brought the defibrillator and this is not working at that very time. And many drugs may be expired and injections may be expired, but that should be timely checked and documented in the checklist register. There should be a register on which tick, 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 this is okay, this is okay.
And sometimes it is seen that the monitor is not working.
Yeah.
Monitor and the defibrillator, they are not in
That's to be
functional.
checked properly.
So,
So,
Dr.
Dr.
Radhakanta, if the patient is not responsive, now first you have seen the responsiveness, then what will you do?
So first and foremost is BLS. So first we maintain airway, breathing and circulation, that is ABC. Assess and continue simultaneously. Before starting treatment we should have a diagnosis. What could be the cause of simultaneous assessment as well as resuscitation is the important key to revive a patient. You have to diagnose quickly and resuscitate also quickly.
I think because it is a life-saving situation, diagnosis comes secondary. First, we have to go for the resuscitation because at this stage, diagnosis can be deferred, but resuscitation is important, and assessment and resuscitation measures have to go simultaneously. So that's
And
why.
for that,
Very true.
Can I speak something?
yes, from expert.
First and foremost thing, when I receive a patient, maternal collapse and shock, patient is not in a position, not unresponsive. First you resuscitate the patient. First. Then you see whether she is pregnant, she has delivered, postpartum up to 6 weeks, no? Or she is early pregnancy or late pregnancy, whatever. Then you position the patient, start giving IV fluid, CPR, whatever possible in your hand, drugs, and call your assistant, everybody, cardiologist, if you are in institution. If you are alone, then you call your nurses, midwives to help you. So, first you have to diagnose, resuscitate, then you start.
So, therefore, for this we follow ABCD approach: airway, breathing, circulation, and visibility. And simultaneously, you assess and treat continuously and simultaneously, both the things. And life-saving treatment does not require a definitive treatment. You don't wait for a definitive treatment, but rather you start saving her. Reassess regularly, and any sign of deterioration should be recorded in these very cases. So this is a picture, because we could not arrange a dummy on which we want to demonstrate. This is a very important, and we teach usually in the drills to all the paramedics and our staff that airway put in the left lateral position. So this patient is put in the left lateral position. Just head tilt and chin lift. Tilt the head and keep it tilted, and lift chin and open the airways. Inspect the mouth and remove if there is any foreign body, and if present and easily visible, remove it. The next is breathing. So who will tell? Dr. Anima?
After you check the open airway for any obstruction, then you will